Hey everyone, welcome to the next session in Code Along with Alex. Today we are diving into Kubernetes, specifically deploying Cassandra on Kubernetes. So let's get into it. So quickly I toggled to the documentation and you can see we're gonna kind of at a glance run over how to deploy Apache Cassandra or Apache Cassandra on Kubernetes. All these links will be shared in the video description, but you don't need to be an expert in Apache Cassandra to benefit from the content of this video, but just kind of getting practice in using Kubernetes and integrating with various applications. But apparently, Cassandra is an open source NoSQL database to manage massive amounts of data fast without losing sleep. I like that. Okay, let's get back into Kubernetes. Um, so this tutorial will show us how to run Apache Cassandra on Kubernetes. Cassandra is a database that needs persistent storage to provide data durability, i.e. application state. So in this example, a custom Cassandra seed provider lets the database discover new Cassandra instances as they join the Cassandra cluster. And then stateful sets make it easier to deploy stateful applications into our Kubernetes cluster. And so for more information on the features used in this tutorial, the technical writing team recommends checking out the StatefulSet docs, which are linked in the tutorial, and I'll include those in the video description. But at a high level, the StatefulSet is the workload API object used to manage stateful applications. And so it manages the deployment and scaling of a set of pods and provides guarantees about the ordering and uniqueness of these pods. Okay, back to the tutorial at hand. So, another note from the writers that Cassandra and Kubernetes both use the term node to mean a member of a cluster. In this tutorial, the pods that belong to the stateful set are Cassandra nodes and are members of the Cassandra cluster, called a ring. When those pods run in your Kubernetes cluster, the Kubernetes control plane schedules those pods onto Kubernetes nodes. When a Cassandra node starts, it uses a seed list to bootstrap discovery of other nodes in the ring. This tutorial deploys a custom Cassandra seed provider that lets the database discover new Cassandra pods as they appear inside our Kubernetes cluster. Okay, so the objectives of today are fivefold, I suppose. Number one is to create and validate a Cassandra headless service, which is a way to expose an application running on a set of pods as a network service. Okay. We're going to then use a stateful set to create a Cassandra ring, which the stateful set manages deployment and scaling of a set of pods with durable storage and persistent identifiers for each pod. Next, we're going to validate the stateful set. After that, we'll modify the stateful set. And then finally, we'll delete the stateful set and its pods, which are the representations of a set of running containers in our cluster. Awesome. So before we begin, the elephant in the room, we need a Kubernetes cluster to interact with. And we also need the kubectl command line tool configured to communicate with that cluster. It's recommended to run this tutorial on a cluster with at least 2 nodes that aren't acting as the control plane hosts, but go for it. You know what I mean? And if you don't have a cluster already, which at the moment I don't, there's options to create a cluster or use an existing Kubernetes playground. The main kind of quick cluster creation tool that I've experienced with is Minikube, and that's the one that is often described in the docs. Excuse me. But today we're going to be using Killer Coda, which is a web app based Kubernetes Playground. So I'm going to quickly toggle over to Killer Coda. This service or program offers a variety of playgrounds to use. They're all kind of Linux, cloud, I guess, infrastructure focused, but a lot of Kubernetes stuff. Today we're going to be using the Kubernetes 1.25 playground. And you can see that it's initialized Kubernetes and the control plane is ready to go. I'm going to squeeze this to the left so that we can see a little bit better. I'm also going to zoom in. I don't like how it does that sometimes. Do it one more time. Excuse me, my nose is itchy. Must be the allergies. All right. That's a little better. Easier to see. Okay. So we have Kubernetes up and running. Let's just see the kubectl is configured, and yeah, we're good to go, man. Okay, so let's return to the documentation. And they recommend to complete this tutorial, they is the technical writing team at Kubernetes, to have a basic familiarity with pods, services, and stateful sets. I encourage you to read into these at your leisure. So pods are the representation of a set of running containers in our cluster. Services are a way to expose an application running on a set of pods as a network service, and stateful sets manage the deployment and scaling of a set of pods. Said that a couple times already today, but repetition isn't the worst. We're not using Minikube, so we can skip this section about Minikube default configuration and having to override that. So if you're using Minikube, I encourage you to run this command, but today we're not, so we can proceed. So to start, we're going to create a headless service for Cassandra. And in Kubernetes, a service describes a set of pods that perform the same task. So the following service is used for DNS lookup between Cassandra pods and clients within our cluster. So we've got some trusty YAML. It's the good stuff. So this looks like nothing particularly wild compared to what we've seen before. API version, the kind, I don't believe we've seen that before, or if we have, it's a blur. Stuff happens. These kind of label sections, very familiar to what we've seen previously. The ports, using a different port today, but it's exciting, spice of life. So instead of manually catting this YAML into a local file or a file in Killer Coda, instead we're going to run this helpful command that the technical writing team provided for us, where we use kubectl to apply the configuration hosted at this remote file, which has that YAML described here, which is quite nice. So I'm going to copy paste this because I'll mess up typing that URL. But we can return to Killer Coda. And then I'm going to paste in that command, kubectl apply. And you can see very quickly the Cassandra service was created for us. Very nice. So let's return to the docs. This is an optional step, but it can't hurt. I mean, it's always good to build more muscle memory with commands. So this one I'll type because there's no URL necessary, but we're going to validate the Cassandra service. So let's return to Killer Coda and see what we get. So we're going to do kubectl get svc, so I guess this service, and then Cassandra. Awesome. So this looks exactly like it does on the documentation site. So we are good to go. So I'm going to toggle back to the docs, but before I do, you can see there's no external IP, and it's the port is listed as 9042, like it was declared in the YAML configuration. So everything looks good. Next. And there's some debugging options if you have issues and need some troubleshooting assistance with your service creation. But let's proceed. So now we're going to use a StatefulSet to create a Cassandra ring. So the StatefulSet manifest, included below, creates a Cassandra ring that consists of 3 pods. And so this example uses the default provisioner for Minikube. Please update the following StatefulSet for the cloud you're working with. Interesting. So this might not work exactly out of the box for Killer Coda, but let's try. I'm just going to try to copy paste it. Worst case scenario, this is a learning experience that things might not work. Actually, there's probably a command for us, so I don't need to copy paste it. Yeah. Awesome. So they helped us out. Yeah, and so they give us some tip if we have to modify it, but hopefully we don't have to. Let's see what happens. I'm going to return to Killer Coda, paste in that. Hey, okay, so that worked. Let's see if there's nothing kind of corrupted. I mean, the only way to check is to continue. At least at this point, I'm not Kubernetes wizard yet to quickly verify, but let's check. Maybe there's a validation step. All right, so I'm going to return to the documentation. So if you have to modify your YAML, just use this modified command, which instead of passing a remote URL, it is just a local file path to wherever your modified YAML lives. So let's check let's validate our Cassandra stateful set. So it's very similar to the validation of the service where we did get, or kubectl get svc Cassandra. Now we're doing kubectl get stateful set Cassandra. So I'm going to return to Killer Coda. I'm going to type this one out. These are the ones that are typable. I would never shame you for copy pasting a URL. Those are pretty easy to mess up unless they're like very, very short. Okay, did I spell everything right? Okay. Yeah, looks good. So 0 out of 3 are ready. Age is 102 seconds. If we return to the documentation, our result is similar, except instead of ready, the docs say desired. Let's keep going. Maybe it worked, or maybe this is an issue with the Cassandra StatefulSet YAML. But let's see. Let's keep going. We'll find out. So next, we're going to get the pods to see the ordered creation status. Because I guess before I proceed, I don't see that this would be a very time-intensive operation, but I could be wrong. So I guess before I type in this ordered creation status check, I will rerun the get stateful set command within kubectl. So I'm going to return to Killer Coda. And then I'm going to press enter. Yeah, okay, so 0 out of 3 already. Let's see, maybe something is corrupted. I'm going to try that get pods command. So kubectl get pods -l and then equals app equals Cassandra. Okay. So status pending. Interesting. If we toggle back to the docs, we can see that it should be running and the container creating. Okay, so this might be an issue with the YAML configuration. Yeah, I believe the rest of these steps depend on the successful deployment of this. So let's see if maybe we need to tweak some YAML. So let's inspect where this might not work. So we're pulling image. This should be fine. We're declaring some ports. Maybe it's this. Something with the Ooh, okay. This is the first reference I'm seeing to Minikube. So let's go back here. So use the default provisioner for Minikube. Please update the following stateful set for the cloud you are working with. Okay. So let's make sure I didn't miss any other Minikube that I glanced over. Cassandra. Okay. I think it's just this one reference. Let's navigate to this URL and see what's there. If that's even a URL. Page not found. Interesting. Okay. So so we can adjust the host path. Let me toggle to the killer coda. What do we have here? I guess we're gonna have to copy this into a file. So let's open a file called Cassandra StatefulSet. So we'll do nano Cassandra StatefulSet.yaml. And then let's paste in this YAML. Okay. There we go. Aggressive. Okay. So let's see where we might have to tweak this. I mean, this looks fine. This shouldn't be adjusted, I don't believe. Hmm. Hmm. Interesting. I'm not sure. This might unintentionally become a two-parter. Hmm. Yeah, interesting. So, yeah, let's try this with Minikube. So, I'm going to leave this scenario in Killer Coda. I'm going to open an Ubuntu scenario. It's just plain Ubuntu, and we'll install Minikube, get going here. Because if we go kubectl, I don't believe that's installed. Spell it right. Yeah, good. Okay. I don't believe Minikube is installed. Okay, cool. Next. So let's install Minikube. Let's have fun. Let's get a little wild on camera. Installing software. Okay. So we're at the Minikube docs. Let's try to find the installation guide. Let's probably get started. Linux. Boom. Let's copy this because it's a URL and I'll mess up. Paste that in. Nice. Let's return to Minikube. Maybe we can type this one. Yeah, some practice. So sudo install Minikube. I don't know if I have sudo access to this. It might not work. I don't think I do. And I spelled it wrong. This is when you should use autocomplete. Well, lovely. Okay. So let's start our cluster now. Return to the documentation. That's just accomplished by running minikube start. So I'll just type in minikube start. Nice. There's not enough cores. Oh. Okay. Let's try this on the other one. Let's see if I can install Minikube on Killer Coda. And worst case scenario, we can use my local one. I just was trying to do it in the cloud, so it'd be easier for people. Don't have Minikube. Okay, cool. Let's install Minikube. Let's run the next command. It's thinking. It thought and it thunk. Okay. And now let's try to start. It's thinking. Are there enough resources? Oh. Okay. Dang. All right, we gotta do this locally then. I'm gonna pull up Termius. Give me a moment while I have to update my OBS view so you all can see my command line. But just give me one moment. Almost there. I appreciate your patience. Much appreciated. And Termius. Okay, I don't know if I have Minikube installed, but we can install it and then we'll see what happens. So let's check. Don't have Minikube. Okay, I must have deleted it recently. Let's install Minikube for a third time on Linux. Okay. Curl command. Oh, it's thinking. I don't have the data center internet, I guess, locally. Or maybe they had cached copies or something. Who knows? It's probably also because I'm streaming content out simultaneously and downloading it locally. Oh well. The fun of live coding and streaming. It's getting there. Cool. Now, just gonna. Okay, and then we want to start the Minikube cluster. Yay. It's thinking. It's got enough CPUs. Okay. So now let's, when that finishes starting, we can return to the documentation. I guess while that's starting, we'll return to the documentation, let it continue. And we're going to need to, I should cancel this. Yes. Because this Minikube setup requires additional memory and more CPUs. So let's start Minikube with sufficient resources. Hopefully my computer doesn't explode. We'll see. have to, damn. How do you delete a cluster? Minikube, delete. Okay. Yeah. Okay, now we can start it. There we go. So when that's done, we're going to go back and create the headless service for Cassandra like we did previously. Hopefully, and that was a snappy process. So really, I think we should be on the right track once this is installed. Like all the emojis. Makes me smile. It's important. You got to remember to smile. Coding should be fun. I mean, it can be a bummer sometimes too, but gotta have fun sometimes. Getting close. And we're good to go. So we can run kubectl. All right. So I'm going to return to the documentation, and I'm going to copy paste this command because it's a long URL. Return to killer coda, paste it in. Should have a Cassandra service created. Next, we can check the service, validate it. It doesn't autocomplete. Okay. Nice, nice. Okay, looks good. Nothing is broken yet. All right, now we're gonna create a Cassandra ring like we tried previously. I'm gonna run this installation code, which should hopefully work with our Minikube, but we'll see. This could always be really good feedback for the doc team for Kubernetes if it doesn't work. But again, I'm going to copy paste this because it's a long URL and I will surely mistype something. Okay, and we created a storage class. Next, let's just validate the class. And this is very similar to our get svc Cassandra command, except we're going to do kubectl get StatefulSet Cassandra. And I might have spelled something wrong. I did. StatefulSet. And 0 out of 3 already. Interesting. This is the same problem we had last time. Maybe it just takes a while. I don't know. We'll give it a minute. Hope you're having a good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever, whenever you are. Today it's October 29th, 2022 for me, around 12:30 in the afternoon. But whenever you're watching this, I hope you're having a great day. Everything is going well, and if it's not, reach out to some friends and let them know you need a hug or something. Yeah, let's I'll stop with the ranting and get on with checking our stateful set. It's interesting. So nothing is ready. Interesting. Keep on waiting. Got some time. Let's check again. Looks like I typed everything correctly, just making sure. Damn. Maybe my computer is not sufficiently beefy to do this while also doing recording and sharing Discord. Let's try the next command that we tried before. I don't expect it to work, but we'll get the pods using the label app equals Cassandra. Just some nice filtering. Spell that all right. Yeah, 0 out of 1 ready. Status running. In the docs, it says 1 out of 1 ready, status running. Interesting. So it looks like there should be 3 based on the docs. So I think there's some kind of malfunction with our configuration or its practical application on my hardware device. Might have to try this on a different machine, like a remote server that I rent, just so that it has sufficient resources, because right now it looks like it does not. Let's check the stateful set again. Yeah, it's not. No. All right. Sort of a letdown, but things happen sometimes. Interesting. Yeah, so I think that this is just perhaps a case of, oh yeah, my computer fan is not happy. Do I have HTOP installed? Where'd it go? Dang, that was weird. Okay. Yo, that was aggressive. Yeah, I think my computer's not stoked right now. Well, on that note, thank you for hanging out with me this afternoon or whenever it is for you. Unfortunately, I was not able to complete this tutorial today. I think it might be a limitation of my hardware. I think it just can't handle doing this Kubernetes stuff while recording and streaming. Could be wrong, but I think my hardware is just not meant for this. But thank you so much for hanging out. Really appreciate your company and joining me on this adventure in our learning community with the Graph Advocates. But see you next time on Code Along with Alex. Bye.